Hi, my name is Revera, and we are here with the president of the Auburn College Democrats, Karsten. So, Karsten, just break us down. Going into Super Tuesday, talking specifically about the Democrats that are running for president, which of the candidates are in the best position to earn a lot of delegates?
So someone that's expected to do really well and has to do really well is Vice President Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
He's expected to poll really well with the African American vote, but someone that's been pushing into that really well has been Bernie Sanders. Senator Sanders has done a pretty good job of diversifying his vote. He did really well in the first three votes with Iowa, New Hampshire,
Mm-hmm.
and Nevada, and a lot of people are expecting him to do a lot better in the Super Tuesday votes with Alabama
Mm-hmm.
and all the other states.
Mm-hmm. So, talking more specifically, Alabama, obviously it's a very Republican state. The last time that the Alabama delegates voted for a Democratic president was about 40 years ago. I believe that was Jimmy Carter. So knowing this, which of the candidates do you believe is going to do best in Alabama in getting those delegates?
Well, in the primary, I think that Joe Biden probably stands to do the best just because he does poll really well with the black electorate. The African American vote tends to be more conservative in Alabama, and Joe Biden is a more moderate candidate, someone that appeals to them, and there's the belief, or there's the connection with him to President Obama, and so he stands to do really well, I believe, during a lot of these Super Tuesday elections, especially in Alabama. Bernie Sanders is doing well, but we'll have to wait and see if he's doing well enough to get the more moderate vote.
So for the Democratic nominees, who really needs to score a lot of delegates on Super Tuesday, and who really just needs to stay relevant in the polling and wait for more votes to come?
So the person that probably has to improve the most is Pete Buttigieg. Mayor Buttigieg did really well in Iowa. He did well in New Hampshire, but there's a lot of questions as to whether or not he can win more racially diverse states, and that's going to be a big issue for him. President or Vice President Joe Biden has already shown that he polls really well in diverse states. Senator Sanders has shown that he polls really well. Buttigieg it's a little bit uncertain with him, so he's going to have to put a lot of work in to make sure that he gets his delegates that he needs.
Got you. So of the nominees, who do you think is going to be standing the best chance of beating President Trump when it comes around to November?
I think that it really depends on how the primaries end up. If there's one primary, or if there's one candidate that can take it all really well, like if Bernie Sanders or even Joe Biden or whoever gets a lot of the delegates in the primary, then it will strengthen the support behind that candidate. But if there's a brokered convention, or if there's some uncertainty as to where the Democratic Party should go, then I think regardless of who it is, then they're going to have a hard time. I don't think there are any candidates that have a particularly bad chance against President Trump. I do think that of them, Mike Bloomberg probably has one of the worst chances, just because he's viewed as basically the same thing as President Trump by a lot of Democrats. But other than that, there's a lot of vote blue no matter who rallying behind all of the candidates.
I know you brought up a brokered convention of how that potentially could not have a unified Democratic front, so to speak. If there was to be a brokered convention, why do you think that'd be? Because?
Well, a lot of that would probably come down to there are a lot of candidates in the mix right now, and Bernie is looking like he's going to take the primary. Just the way that it's trending right now, we don't know. Things can always happen, but with so many candidates in the race right now, it's pulling a lot of votes away from specific people. If it ends up just being between, say, Senator Sanders and Vice President Biden, then it's more likely that someone like Sanders will just take the majority. But if a lot of candidates do still stay in the race until the very end, you could see a brokered convention pretty significantly. It's throughout the primaries, it's been consistently the top, the most likely option, second most likely, third most likely, behind either Sanders, Biden, being one of those other three.
So are you like really thinking that it's going to be a real convention between a more radical Democrat such as Bernie Sanders and a more moderate such as either Biden or Buttigieg?
Probably. Bernie has been doing really well. It's most likely that he's going to be somewhere near the top. As far as who comes after him, it's hard to say. It's most likely going to be Biden or Buttigieg. It really depends on how they do running up to Super Tuesday, how a lot of people perceive all of that. Biden was expected to do a lot better than he did in Iowa, and that raised a lot of doubts. Buttigieg did a lot better than expected, and so that raised a lot of support for him. But at the end of the day, you can never really accurately predict what happens in an election.
Got you. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I think that it's just really important that regardless of who you support, that you go out and support that candidate in the primary, and that you get other people to support that whoever they support in the primaries, because getting people to vote in the general election is important, and the first step to do that is to make them aware of who's running in the primaries and make them aware of the policies and what's really at stake.